Good evening. So we are going to go ahead and go back over these pairs from what happened this morning to the biases that are still being in place. So starting with GU is we definitely have this lower high point right here in this big consolidation area, and we definitely look at the way that this previous candle closed and this one right in here. So I'm leaning more towards being bearish than anything like that, and H1 is maintaining a downtrend structure. So this was your first lower high point, and then now it's your second lower high point. Now we can even possibly have an opportunity to draw a nice trend line right here just to determine any type of switch in bias, right? Because we are in this range. So right now we are going to be maintaining a downtrend structure, and looking on here, this uptrend structure is still being maintained. At this point in time, this area right here is the one that has to break, even though yes, we did break this trend line opportunity, or this counter trend line opportunity. We haven't really broken anything significant on these lower time frames. So yeah, even though, but M5 is starting to break these minor levels right in here. So we can keep that in mind, to where if this drops a bit more and we formed a lower high point somewhere probably within this area, the backside of this trend line, we can determine the fact that this is going to start switching back over to this analysis time frame. All right. So that's what we're predominantly looking for, is either a break of this area and a retest, or a lower high point showing that now more selling pressure is still within the market. GJ is a bit confusing right now based off of where it's at. We are still within this 23.6% area, which is kind of typical for GJ to get a little sideways and consolidating. But seeing here the fact that we start having the cross of the SMA and EMA right here based off of H4, showing that there is now more bearish pressure starting to enter the market. Alright, so even though we do have this long wick, we don't see it on one time frame higher, and we don't see it really on one time frame lower. So yeah, even though that indicates a lot of sellers exhaustion, we do have this lower high point still being maintained, and possibly another lower high point being maintained right now too. Right? We also determined the fact that if it did break this area right here, that we would be more looking for selling bias at that time. So what we can see here is that we see a possible level of support now being maintained and respected off of these type of time frames. All right. Now we do have a bit more bullish momentum still within this market, seeing these time frames right in here, and seeing how it is still maintaining this minor uptrend right here, but keeps on retesting and respecting this. So what I would like to see is at least some form of lower high point being formed, or across of the SMA and EMA, some sort of indication that there's starting to be more selling pressure than there is of buying pressure right now, right? Because this type of candle right here doesn't give me confidence within it that there's more sellers than buyers and at this point in time. So right now, this is the area that it is being maintained with. Now on these lower time frames, we are starting to see these little minor transitions, but not giving us a whole bunch of confidence in it either way. So yeah, we are still maintaining this more bearish bias. It's still minor because overall we are still bullish within this 23.6%. But right now we are bearish, and we are seeing if we can get to that at least 38.2% retrace. AU, yeah, we are maintaining this downtrend structure right in here, and in fact, if we look over to the left, this entire area of support, we broke it, and then a possible retest of it, right? And we're starting to see some sort of resistance being formed on this time frame. So if we also look right here as well, within the next minute, this will form a minor lower high point right in here. So this is possibly an entry. Now we could see some drawdown because there is still a bit more bullish momentum in here, right? But the SMA and EMA are both pointing down as well. So even here, there is a bit more bullish momentum still. But again, we could take the drawdown a little bit, and we are still aiming for one that negative 27%, right? Even though we are, we're still aiming for that negative 27%. We can even draw this level of support right here, this minor level right in here, to know that this area has been respected in the past, that is within that possibly 38.2%. Alright. And then US30, we were stating the fact that this is maintaining uptrend structure. We looked to the left, saw a possible retrace opportunity. It just maintained a minor level of support and then continue upward. Now, we are definitely respecting this 23.6% area, and we closed beyond this bearish candle, right? So let's go ahead and erase everything just to get it a bit more clear, because it's a lot of shit everywhere. So H4 is still maintaining a downtrend structure. Excuse me. Right? Still, yeah, it's still maintaining it. So now, because that was based off of a daily time frame, we see the fact that H1 broke a minor level of resistance. So this trend line could get respected, and from here what we could be looking for is some sort of higher low point, right, if it does respect this 23.6% area. But for now, let's maintain this overall H4 bias, right? That way we're not getting ourselves too confused, right? But be aware that we're not probably going to hit projection, right? We are maintaining this bullish momentum, and we never even had a nice retrace. So yeah, so where we're at right now is this trendline opportunity based off of H4, and we are breaking some minor levels of support, right there, right? That's uptrend, and then, all right, let's just see if we can get a bit more detail, even though it's a bit steep. Yeah, it's a bit steep, but it kind of just still shows the fact that, you know, we are starting to have some more bearish pressure starting to come in. And if we also look here, we are maintaining these lower high points, right, based off M30. So some bearish pressure is starting to enter the market, and from here, you got to remember that we never, right? This broke, so I'll say from right here is a nice area. I wouldn't really count that as 38.2%, just because it was one candle. That was really it. So 23, 23, then 23. So, and we're also starting to find a nice area of resistance here. So let's see how far this can retrace down as of right now. So my lower time frame bias is starting to get a bit more bearish at this time, but just for a retrace, right? And we have to take cautious the fact that there is still more a bullish bias, right? There's more bulls than bears in the market, right? Based off of this very bullish variation. So, but there's no real, on these lower time frames, there's not a nice placement for fibs necessarily at this time yet. But being based off of where we're at, sorry if you hear sirens in the background. We're looking for a nice, some sort of retrace and lower high point. All right, so that's about it. Let's see what happens in the morning, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.